Hey everybody, so just want to offer a quick update on my current position in BLDR. I had entered at 85.97, actually I think a little bit lower than that. So let's see here, on Wednesday, April 5th, we saw a pretty good pullback. This is the hourly time frame. I had set my stop here. Based on a range that I found. It's not really making itself obvious to me why in the hourly, but in my analysis I put my stop right here. So that benefited me because it did break through this demand without going below my stop. It started to make its way back up out of demand, but then got rejected. So that looks like it's a possible stop hunt. So I wouldn't say that this trade is super successful. So I'm just going to make some adjustments. I definitely would welcome any thoughts that people might have, if I should be adjusting differently, if I should just get out, should I hold on to it and keep everything the same. So anyways, this was my first target here, 87.65, and then 89.45 was my next target, approximately. So the thing that I want to point out is if you look at the hourly back to, let's see here, March 6th, so a while ago, about a month ago, we hit a high of 90.15, and then we got a little above that, but basically hit it again. So it looks like, when you zoom out, it looks like we double topped here. So it's hard for me to think that it makes sense to continue long. That being said, my entry was based on from this low of 81.94 to this high, which is 90.25. So if you think about it, we are pulling back, and it's only pulling back 50%. So I really feel like I have a few options, and I'm just going to be more conservative with the options. So one option would be, because I entered below this halfway point, I could take my stop and lower it to this point here, 81.81, because that would be the thing that confirms, the switch from the uptrend to the downtrend. So I could do that. But quite honestly, this double top again makes me think, all right, be more conservative, get out of it with as little loss as possible. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to take my stop and I'm going to raise it to just below these two wicks here. It looks like there's a possible demand forming there. And again, it bounced twice. So my logic is, if I raise the stop, I really don't want to stay in this trade if it goes below these two wicks here, because then that really shows me, okay, it's working its way down now after this double top. So I'm going to raise my stop to 84.79, so that does reduce my potential loss, which is cool. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my both of my targets and just bring it down to below these wicks here, 86.21. So essentially I'm doing damage control. So I'm not going to hit my targets, because I'm going to lower my targets to 86.23 approximately. So anyways, that's my thought. So I'm not necessarily going to just exit out of the trade. I'm just going to tighten my stop, bring my target down. Who knows? Maybe it could, work its way up, and I could regret it. It could just keep climbing and go, we could see something like, all of a sudden it might go here and then, work its way up. And again, then I'm mad at myself for doing what I did. However, it's, just as likely, if not more likely, to see something like, maybe if I could do this, that would be cool. Something like this, right? So to me, I'm just kind of, obviously I don't know, what's happening, but I guess I feel like I'm going to assume that the sentiment right now is shifting from long to short. I know that many traders might disagree with that. So I welcome input. I definitely, would be grateful if anybody had some thoughts on that. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do with my current position with BLDR. Hopefully I can get out of it a little bit in the green, But at least if I don't, I'm managing my loss to, bring the potential loss up. The good news is I entered on Amazon the other day, and I entered around 100, about here. So it worked out for me the other day. So I set up an OCO. I think it was yesterday that I got entered into this. Let me see here. Yesterday. So it entered me, and then it pretty much rose for the rest of the day. And I like this so far. Like, we're still seeing some positive upward movement. So I believe I have my stop. If it's in my Thinkorswim app, so I don't have it in front of me, but I believe I have my stop here. And then I believe my target, I think I went to about half of my target here at 107, and the second half of my target, or I should say my first target, is about here, right before this little supply zone right here. So 103.94, and then let's see here, and then I was going to go to this high here, so like a little before this right here, just to map it out a little bit more. So I'm going here as one target, and then I'm going right here as my next target. So these are my two targets here. I'm happy that I got this drop here. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there, but I'm not going to touch anything there. We're going to let it keep doing what it needs to do. So that was Amazon. I keep messing around with these low price, high momentum stocks, and I'm paying for it right now. I entered FOA yesterday, and that was my entry was $1.98. It's at $1. It closed, I think, at $1.91 or $1.92, somewhere around there. I didn't do a big position. I've just been kind of experimenting with these like high momentum moves to see if I can take the concepts I've learned with supply and demand and put it in there. So let me just look real quick at what happened there. Again, that was FOA. So if I pull that up, I mean, look, lots of kind of weird stuff. I had only looked at it yesterday, and you can see, Tuesday it had a lot of movement with some higher volume, and then it gapped up here. So I entered, if you look at this wick right here, I mean, this kind of hurt here. So like I said, I entered around $1.98 because I saw so much, it hit 225. I thought maybe it will hold the 2 and keep working its way up. And I had found, a supply zone within a smaller time frame. I was doing really, really small. I just feel like so far I haven't done that low price momentum stock too often with the supply and demand strategy. I've been told it's not a great strategy. I'm learning through the hard way that it's not a great strategy. But anyways, that's what I'm currently in. So yeah, so FOA, BLDR, and AMZN, those are the positions that I'm in. I know FOA is super risky to hold over the weekend, but I just, essentially what I'll do is I'll look, Monday morning. The market's closed today because it's Good Friday. But I'll look Monday morning and kind of see where we're at and, just cut my losses quick. Hopefully I don't see some pre-market activity that, brings it way down. But I don't have a big position in there, and, it's not a big deal either way. But anyway, so those are the things I'm currently working on. And then my next step for the weekend is to look at some potential swing trade setups for this upcoming week. And hopefully we can find something. We saw a big day with SPY, a lot of movement, so let's see here. So Thursday, yeah. So we saw it drop down to 405, and then hit a high of 409 for that day. So a lot of movement there. Disappointed that I kind of missed out on that price action. And then I believe Microsoft made a big move. Yeah. So this one's kind of tough to process because I had an OCO set for 281.12, and looking at it now, I think what I should have done, again, hindsight, I kind of set it and forgot about it. This was Wednesday last week, and if we look at, this is Thursday right here. If I had done something like this, again, I could always go hindsight. I recognize that, but it's helpful to me to kind of verbalize out loud. If I had done this demand zone, that would have been a nice little trade there. So unfortunately, I set my entry just a hint too low. I based it off of this gap. I thought maybe it would close the gap and bounce. And I have my stop obviously below here. Hindsight, whatever. But I'd rather make a mistake that doesn't cost me than a mistake that costs me a lot. So, it is what it is. I'll kind of look at this movement here and look at a potential, since we see now a break of structure here, which looks good. I mean, again, anybody who's watching this, you're probably a way better trader than I am. So if you could give me some pointers or some thoughts, but I'm thinking somewhere in this range here might be a possible entry for Microsoft. So if we can get a pullback, something like this, and then boom, that would be cool. So if something like that happened, I would just set my target. So my entry, if I adjust now, put my entry about here, put my stop just below this demand zone here, and I could raise this to about here. Obviously we got to wait and see how the price action moves around a little bit, but that's a pretty good trade. That's 1.85, so we'll see. So 284.76 would be the possible entry that I would hope to make if possible. One issue I've been encountering is the idea that my demand zones are pretty conservative. So I have to see a pretty significant pullback for me to hit those demand and enter into the trade. And I think the challenge with that is, I think what I'm doing wrong is, I think the demand zone that I'm looking to enter on, it's almost like I'm looking for the best R&R scenario, but I'm not accounting for, well, if it drops to the demand zone that I'm looking for, has the sentiment change? In other words, is it such a big pullback that it's going to continue working its way down? So I think what I need to do is be a little bit more thoughtful in, once I set up an OCO, look to see if there's other demands above my entry, that demand zones above my initial entry, to see if I can adjust, just like I did here. I mean, obviously I missed this one because I didn't raise my entry from 281.12 to 282.86. If I had, that would have been a great trade. And I would have, set a target around here, hindsight, but something that to think about. So we'll see, but I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on Microsoft. I think it's, likely that it could push to 300. Let's see here. Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely been there before. That's 350 there back in, that's November 22nd, 2021. So obviously it's been a while, but there's nothing that tells me it can't stop. And here we have a 294, this point right here. So that's an important point as well. So anyways, that's kind of my thoughts so far. I am going to post one more video at some point about, potential swing trades for this upcoming week, but this is just kind of a reflection as to how things went for this week and some things I'm eyeballing for this upcoming week. But all right, everybody, take care.